How does an orphan with no money or connections build the most famous luxury watch brand in the world? That's the incredible rags to riches story of Rolex. From tragedy and adversity, Hans Wilsdorf turned his obsession with creating the perfect watch into a multi-billion-dollar empire shrouded in secrecy. Born in 1881 in Germany, Hans had a comfortable upbringing with loving parents, but at only 12 years old, he was struck by devastating back-to-back tragedies when first his mother, then his father unexpectedly passed away just months apart. Hans was orphaned with his dreams shattered. He fell into a depression that his relatives did little to alleviate, sending him off to a strict boarding school instead. However, Hans eventually found an escape route, losing himself in languages and his studies. This helped pave the way for his future success. After finishing school, Hans got a job in Switzerland, working for a large watch exporter. His language skills proved useful as he handled foreign correspondence, but more valuable was the intimate look Hans got into watch construction and the watchmaking business. He then moved to London, gaining crucial marketing experience while seeking new watch sales, understanding what made one brand stand out from another. But Hans was dreaming bigger. At just 24 years old, he decided to start his own watchmaking company. With limited funds, he invested savings and convinced his brother-in-law to provide the rest to get the business going. They began importing watches from Switzerland to sell in the UK. However, in those days, pocket watches dominated the market. Wristwatches were dismissed as flimsy women's accessories, but Hans was convinced they would replace pocket watches with their superior convenience and style. Despite widespread skepticism, he gambled the company's entire capital stock on one of the largest wristwatch orders ever seen. Everyone thought he was crazy, but Hans met with master watchmakers, learning the intricate craft while importing Swiss mechanisms to make higher quality wristwatches. Next was establishing the perfect brand name. Hans claimed while riding to work one day it came to him in a flash. Rolex. Short, easy to pronounce in any language, and catchy with an elegant, authoritative style. The name went on all the watch dials, building instant recognition. Soon after, the company name changed to Rolex Watch Company. Despite initial doubts, Rolex wristwatches quickly attracted interest, especially after winning early precision awards. When war broke out in 1914, rising anti-German sentiment and crushing import duties forced Hans to move the company from England to neutral Switzerland. And so whilst competitors went bankrupt, clever maneuvering meant Rolex profited massively from World War I, becoming the military's preferred wristwatch. But Rolex's meteoric rise really came from Hans's marketing brilliance. He put the watches on figures involved in daring adventures, like racing drivers or polar explorers. Hans told their thrilling stories in hundreds of strategically placed newspaper and radio ads, linking Rolex with achievement in the public imagination long before rivals cottoned on. Then came technical innovations. In 1926, Rolex produced the first commercially viable waterproof watch named the Oyster. Tested on a British woman swimming the channel for over 10 grueling hours, it made headlines. Hans had dealers display them in fish tanks to grab customer attention. 5 years later, Rolex patented the first self-winding mechanism, a watch that wound itself with the wearer's movements. Previously believed impossible, it was a revolutionary step change. Hans also pioneered Rolex's globally recognized marketing playbook, putting watches on the world's most daring adventurers and athletes. Rolex rapidly expanded both technically and in popularity this way, becoming synonymous with innovation and achievement. However, amidst ceremonies launching the date-just automatic calendar wristwatch in 1945, Hans suffered personal heartbreak with the sudden loss of his beloved wife. They had been inseparable for decades, but with her passing and no children, Hans was orphaned and widowed, again left staring mortality in the face. He spent years carefully developing the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation to keep Rolex securely in good hands after his death. In 1946, he transferred 100% ownership of Rolex to this entity. It maintains tight control to this day, with no obligation to disclose finances or activities as a private foundation, not a public company. This allows Rolex to largely operate in the shadows beyond criticism, keeping business operations shrouded in secrecy despite global fame. After Hans died in 1960 at 79, Rolex continued accelerating until the 1970s quartz crisis almost decimated the mechanical watch industry. Swiss manufacturers were demolished as cheaper battery-powered watches flooded the market. Yet Rolex emerged unscathed, leaving us to answer why, and also why Rolexes are so staggeringly expensive today. Well, firstly, Rolex carefully cultivates almost mythological allure, marketing themselves as the ultimate global status symbol. Their steadfast sponsorship of tennis, golf, motor racing, and other glitzy pursuits frequented by the wealthy associates of Rolex with success and sophistication. Product placement pays actors and athletes vast sums to wear Rolex watches both on and off screen. This aspirational lifestyle branding has made it renowned as the symbol for flaunting affluence. Now, Rolex undeniably utilizes fine materials stringently vetted for longevity, plus meticulous craftsmanship with extensive in-house research. So elevated cost does come partly from elevated quality controls throughout the watchmaking process. However, speculation puts profit margins as high as 20 times production expenses, with remaining funds pouring straight back into maintaining Rolex's industry dominance through relentless advertising and endorsements. This savage marketing machine preserves Rolex as the world's preeminent status plaything. Their timepieces cost not just in materials, but in magic. Other luxury brands make watches for a fraction of the price, hailing from little-known Swiss mountain enclaves, but many argue you're paying predominantly for the pleasure of that luminous name on the dial. Without celebrity backing and carefully engineered prestige, would Rolex watches fetch the same astronomical sums? To prevent overexposure, Rolex tightly governs sales channels, permitting no discounts or exceptions to recommended retail prices. Some accuse them of deliberately limiting supply to stimulate demand and justified ever higher price tags. With wait lists stretching years for stainless steel models, Rolex may profit more from perceived scarcity than actual production expenses. In economics, Rolex fits the model of a Veblen good, where demand perversely increases, the higher prices climb as purchasing becomes a display of financial muscle. Although Rolexes are unobtainable for many, their roots as a pragmatic, sturdy tool watch still echo through the brand. This legendary heritage resonates with the middle class, unlike vertiginous prices of elite watchmakers, solely catering to higher echelons. The Orphan, who built the world's most famous watch brand. Hans Wilsdorf turned personal tragedy into global success with sheer grit and visionary imagination. Rolex continues that heritage today, blending innovation, luxury marketing, and mystique into timepieces seen as much magic as metal and crystal. What other business lessons can we learn from the secrecy behind this legendary rags to riches story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Infinite Lux. Also hit the notification bell to the updates of our next videos. Thanks for watching.